Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Allen McMillan. She has with her today her communications specialist, Ivy Harrington. From our county office, Gail Carrick, Neil Kramer, Michael Liu, and Adam Kendler. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to get started today, and I'd like to introduce our advisor for this program, Ms. Mary DiCaprio.
Thank you, Mrs. Lesner. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Mary DiCaprio. Call sign is KG2WRW. I'm a science teacher here at Sussex Charter and moderator for today's ARIS Contact. ARIS stands for Amateur Radio on the International Space Station, which you will soon be learning a lot more about shortly. Wow, it's hard to believe we finally reached this long-awaited day. Students at Sussex Charter will be speaking to astronaut Mark Vanderhyde, KG5 GNP, on the ISS today via amateur radio. We at Charter have worked very hard to make this in-person ground station contact with the ISS possible while keeping within all COVID-19 restrictions. Through the help of amateur radio volunteers and the crew on the ISS, we hope to soon establish an amateur radio contact with the International Space Station as it orbits over 200 miles above the Earth and flies over New Jersey. This contact will be accomplished using our ground station and incredible antenna tower, which stands just outside these walls, kindly built by Vince Colella, our radio operator, KG2TMJ, to enable our students to contact the ISS. I am very proud and grateful for all the hard work, dedication, and support of fellow staff members, students, and our community in preparation for today's big event. All of the big thank yous are listed in today's program. We've had multiple subject areas infuse the curricula with ARIS-themed content, from rocket boys analysis to researching NASA's many astronauts, learning about the persistence of explorers, and being able to land a rover on Mars and receive messages back from it. Thank you so much to our radio operators and the Sussex County Amateur Radio Club for all their extra hard work, practices, and tweaks to create a bona fide ground station here at Charter. We are so grateful also to ARIS and NASA for today's culminating event. An opportunity of a lifetime. To me personally, as a science teacher and space lover, this is a dream come true. Most importantly, it's an opportunity for our students to be inspired as they launch into their futures. Now I'd like to introduce several 8th grade students, Adam and Jason, who have some of their own heartfelt remarks to share with the group before we begin contact.
As I stand here today about to ask my questions, it makes me think about what got me interested in space and the universe in the first place. My answer was an easy one. My grandfather used to tell me stories about the years he worked at NASA. He used to build navigation systems for the Challenger spacecraft, and that was the spark that fired my interest in space. The other thing that made me interested in space was when my father bought our current telescope. We looked at the night sky and saw planets, supernova, and meteors fly across the night sky. We also saw galaxies both near and distant. We looked at the white surface of the moon and at stars whose light shines so dimly that we needed a telescope to see. We saw moons of different planets, so I had my answer to my question, and I plan to keep uncovering new things and out there and flip over the stones of the universe to further humanity's expedition into space. And one day, I hope to be in the council laughing at myself and saying, yeah, I know what you would do yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. and Jason.
Thank you. For years, the International Space Station has been a shining silver dot in the sky, and I don't think anything of it. When I got involved in this program, I saw that it was so much more, and that it was the culmination of dozens of countries' efforts, not only in science, but a culmination of peace and unity between countries. When I watched the first Crew Dragon depart for the International Space Station, I knew this was humanity's future. I now know that it is essential for humans to understand the universe around them, and the ISS is helping us get to the point where we finally understand our planet and the black void that surrounds us. I want to reach the stars as soon as possible, and I inspire others to do so as well, not just for themselves, but for the people around them and the future before them. Thank you.
Thank you to both Adam and Jason. We are getting close to our contact time. But first, we have prepared a short video to explain what we are doing to experience today and show you some of the wonderful student activities we have undertaken in preparation for this event.
Sussex County Charter School in Sparta, New Jersey has many firsts. We are one of the first cohorts of charter schools in New Jersey, and we're one of the first charter schools with technology in our mission. We are also one of very few rural charter schools, and we are one of the only charter schools that has ever participated in an ARIS event. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Hi, my name is Noreen Lazarick, and I am the superintendent of the Sussex County Charter School in Sparta, New Jersey. And we are so excited to be hosting an ARIS event. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the school to truly live to its mission of being a technology school. We are going to talk to astronauts live from the International Space Station. Now, this wasn't easy. This was a year-long project building up to the actual assembly where we'll be talking to astronauts. We've developed interdisciplinary, true project-based learning, integrating all of our subjects. We started a radio club. Students are getting their ham radio operator's license. We've integrated this into 2 clubs. One of our existing clubs, the Society of Women Engineers, and we started a new club, the Ham Radio Operators Club. These 2 clubs, along with a summer camp, have been building up to this culminating activity. It has truly inspired our students not only to continue their education in STEM, but to consider careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. Students have carefully planned their questions. They've considered problem solving, critical thinking, and a sense of exploration that embodies the space program.
So we are preparing for an ARIS contact this year, which is really super exciting for our little school here in Sparta. Actually, the pandemic kind of encouraged me to look for programs kind of like this when we spent a lot of time virtually at home. And I filled out an application, and I thought how cool for the kids to have them be able to talk to an astronaut. So thought, okay, give it a try. And it's probably up against a whole lot of other schools competing for it. But we worked really hard at the application and we got it. So yay, here we are, our little rural school, and the kids are preparing some fantastic questions to ask the astronauts. We're talking about exploration, we're talking about communication, and how can we as 21st century leaders, which our kids are going to be really, really soon, how can we become great problem solvers? And so I think this is going to be a really empowering experience for them, and just once in a lifetime memorable. So we're building Mars colonies, scaled down Mars colonies. We're learning the basics of circuitry, having a can-do attitude, and the kids are just like they're blowing it out of the park. We even have a radio club now at our school, and activities like fox hunts, something we've never done here before, where the kids have to search electronically for transmitters. Things like learning Morse code, which is like a throwback from the old days. So they're learning a little bit more history about the communication in this country. So Morse code, secret code, who knew that could become popular again? And just learning how to communicate by radio, those simple electromagnetic waves that are propagating in our atmosphere. And now this complex science that that just seems way out there is just bringing out so much potential in the kids, and a lot of self-confidence. So, yep, here we are, Sussex Charter, and we are going to launch to greater heights.
That's like a small antenna. That's a nice portable antenna. It works really well for what it is, but it's portable and small, but it is easy to set up.
So there's really big antennas that they actually can reach other planets and other celestial bodies. People use this in emergency situations. People use this during weather disasters. It's used for all sorts of things. It's not, the misconception is it's just a hobby and people do this for fun. The ham radio operators are actually sometimes enlisted by the Red Cross in places that have no power, have no telephone lines. They rely on ham radio people to send messages to the Red Cross of where you need to be and where they need to get supply. So when we had a guest radio operator come here, with his giant antenna, his antenna is actually in New Hampshire and he was operating it from here.
Hi, I'm Isabella. For those of you who don't know what ham radio is, also known as amateur radio, it was used before telephones ever existed and is still a hobby used today for licensed radio operators to talk to other individuals across distances. It allows people to communicate without the internet or cell phones. It's used for emergencies when the usual means of communication are down. To help share amateur radio with young people, NASA promoted amateur radio on the ISS program. The ERA's website states that amateur radio on the International Space Station was formed to design, build, and operate ham radio equipment in space for educational purposes to inspire students toward STEM careers. Most of the astronauts aboard the ISS are also licensed ham radio operators, and one of them today will be talking to our students over the radio on the International Space Station.
Hi, I'm Gabe. Sussex Charter is excited to announce that we're holding a ham radio contact today with the International Space Station, when it's above our school's ground station in Sparta, New Jersey. The following are the call signs or radio names we'll use today to contact the International Space Station. NA1SS to the ISS and KD2YAQ, our station's call sign. Once the astronaut replies to our call, Charter students will begin to ask their questions. Stay tuned for our contact.
Hi, my name is Ruth.
And my name is Chris.
You must be pretty excited to talk directly with astronauts on the International Space Station today. While we're waiting for the space station to come over your portion of the sky, let's talk a little bit about how it's going to happen. Of course, Mission Control is in contact with astronauts all the time, using a big radio with lots of fancy equipment.
However, we're going to be using something very different today. We are going to use ham or amateur radio to talk directly to the International Space Station.
When most people hear the word radio, they think of a music radio station. But it's so much more than that. Radio actually refers to the unseen energy that transmits all sorts of signals using electromagnetic waves. At first, people learned how to send signals like Morse code. And then they discovered that you can send so much more, like data, computer signals, and even TV.
Maybe you don't realize it, but you use radio every day. Maybe you watched the TV this morning, or you texted your friends, or maybe even you check social media like Twitter or Instagram.
Let's travel back to space for a minute. Since the beginning of the space age, humans have sent many spacecraft out into the universe. These range from the Hubble Space Telescope orbiting the Earth daily, and the Curiosity rover exploring Mars. We've even sent a long-distance messenger, the Voyager 1, who has traveled outside of our solar system.
Whether it's capturing a great picture of a far-off galaxy or conducting experiments on the space station, radio has to do with all of these. And today, you're going to be using ham radio. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is ham radio?
Amateur or ham radio is a service and a hobby where operators can talk with people around their neighborhoods, their cities, their country, and even around the world. Amateur radio operators require a radio license from the government. They're not that hard to get. I have one. My call sign is KM4LAO.
And mine is KD8YVJ. Our call signs are a way of identifying who we are to other operators. This lets everyone know that we have the proper license to using the radios.
As amateur radio operators, or hams as we are often called, we can talk with others about basically whatever we want, often science or some new radio gadget that we are interested in.
Let's focus back to the space station and your contact today. Many of the astronauts and cosmonauts aboard the space station are licensed ham radio operators. That's why your operators today can contact them. The people here, as well as the astronauts, are licensed to talk to each other, and you are allowed to talk over to their radio.
For our conversation today, we'll need an amateur radio station on the ground, either in this location or somewhere else around the world. We'll also need a radio in the space station.
NA1SS.
You can hear the calls come. This is November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, the International Space Station, over.
On the space station, the radio transceiver is connected to an amateur radio antenna mounted on the outside. One of these antennas will be used today during our contact.
For our side of the contact, we need a good-sized antenna, a signal amplifier, something to make our signal stronger, and a rotator for turning our antenna. We have to keep our antenna pointed right at the International Space Station. And remember, it's moving across the sky and fast.
To aim the antenna properly, we need to track the path of the space station exactly. NASA uses complex systems to track the path of the space station and other orbiting objects.
The satellite tracking program we are using works out a complicated set of mathematics to provide the orbital location of the space station moment by moment as it moves through space. This information is sent into the computer that controls the antenna rotator, which moves the antenna to follow the space station. Maybe some of you have seen or worked with robotics. That's pretty cool stuff. And just like you can program a robot where to go, what to do, and how to get there, you can also program a computer to tell an antenna how to track the space station across the sky.
You know, it took a lot of planning to get this contact. Several weeks ago, the ARIS operations team had to figure out when the space station's orbit would pass over this location. Then, they had to talk with the planners at NASA's Johnson Space Center. The crew's time is pretty full, so they were able to find a time that could work for the crew members' schedules. Once they found times that would work both in space and here on the ground, the host organized this contact. And in just a few minutes, you'll be hearing and talking to the astronauts.
Well, it's almost time for your contact. It will be exciting, so good luck with it.
Okay, we'll soon be making our contact, and our radio operators, Kelly, Fred, the two Vinces, and live stream operator George will be our own mission control here. Good luck, students, with your questions. And radio operators, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mary Lou. Looks like we have a little bit of time. Looking at the map of the space station, it's now still over the Pacific Ocean, just approaching the coast of California. It's going to be coming at us from the west, so it'll give me a little bit of time to explain a little bit about, some of you have looked at the radio equipment here, and tell you a little bit about what we went through over the past year to build the station and so forth. What we have here is we have two radio systems. One is we call it a primary system, which is the one we'll be using to contact the astronaut on the space station. It has a very elaborate tower with a what we call a high gain antenna to make our power stronger. It is a tracking antenna, and it is computer controlled. So we're looking at computers over here now that have all of the digital information from NASA about where the space station is, and those computers are hooked up directly to our rotator on the antenna, which controls the position, both what we call azimuth and elevation. Azimuth is the north, south, east, and west. Elevation, of course, is how high it is up into the heavens. And that's all controlled. I'm a hands-free operator here. And then it also controls the frequencies upon which we transmit. And the reason why is because some of you, I'm sure from your high school physics, remember something called Doppler shift. And Doppler shift is like when you hear a train coming at you, the sound changes as it passes you. And that happens too with radio waves. As the International Space Station is traveling at about 17,000 miles an hour. That's pretty quick. And it's coming at you pretty fast. And of course, when it comes at you pretty fast, it's a little higher frequency that you're hearing. And as it passes overhead and recedes, the frequency decreases. So our radios do that automatically because that too is computer controlled from where we have it over here. The International Space Station, like all orbiting satellites, usually pass their orbits once every about 90 minutes. So this is there was an earlier pass, about an hour and a half earlier from now, and this will be probably a very good pass. Now this is going to be a very good pass for us because the elevation, this will come right over the school. The elevation will be almost right up vertical in the air. I think it's about 80 degrees. I'm looking at the map over here, which is good, which means we should have quite an adequate time to ask our questions to the astronaut. That gives us about 11, 12 minutes for contact times. Now, what will happen is I will begin to call the space station just when we can detect the space station over the horizon. Because before that, of course, it's hiding behind the Earth, and our radio waves won't hit it, and its radio waves won't hit us. So we need to have a clear pattern. So once it comes up over the horizon, we'll see that on the map here, and I will begin to call the space station. I may have to call a few times because they also have to receive our signal. We'll be talking with astronaut Mark Vande Hei, who is a ham operator, who has done many of these contacts, and he will be controlling the radio aboard the International Space Stations. Once we establish contact, we'll turn it over to the students, and I will control the transmit and receive here so you can hear it over the room's PA system. You heard that a little bit this morning when we sort of, for those of you who were here during rehearsal, we had a mock, and we did that really with walkie-talkies, just like we would do with the space station. Now, hopefully, we'll get the space station the next time around and do it with them. Satellite communication with ham radio, there are a number of amateur radio satellites up in the air for usage by hams, not only the space station. What's on those satellites are something called radio repeaters. And what they do is they receive a signal, and they immediately send it back down to Earth. So you can talk to someone very far distances by aiming your antenna at a satellite. there's satellite passes over just about once every 10 minutes or so. So there's so many amateur radio satellites that us ham operators here, sometimes we have a ball switching from satellite to satellite. We did a lot of practice sessions on the days leading up to this. We worked a number of satellites. Yesterday we talked to someone in Mexico, we talked to Canada, the Caribbean, and even in Europe. We have a signal from Slovenia. So you can see that the higher the satellite, the longer the distances it covers and can relay the messages from one part of Earth to the other part of Earth. The International Space Station has a very strong repeater on it. We will not be using the repeater today. We will actually be talking to the astronaut directly. But very often, what the space station does is when we're done with these types of contacts, they reconfigure their radios so that the ham operators can use it. And every time the International Space Station passes, you'll hear a bunch of ham operators talking to each other and trying to establish contact and basically just having fun. That's what the hobby is all about. So I think we got about 5 minutes to contact. Fred, they're giving me the 5 high sign here. And we will begin to do that. Once we have contact, you'll hear this sound, or once we start the call, you'll hear this sound. You all hear that? And that is the radio ready to receive. We actually have our frequencies programmed in. I'll squelch that a bit so you won't have to hear it now. And I will be switching that in and out as we transmit. The student mic will transmit, and we will hear the astronaut through the loudspeakers. Let's see, anything else I can mention? We've got about how many minutes now? Let's see, it looks like about 3 minutes or so. 4 minutes to call, something like that. Satellite is just about Midwest. Yeah, I got a note from our mentor here that we good to mention something about our prep. This station, obviously, you know, it's not a permanent station at this school, so we had to build this station off-site, and we had to bring it to this school for several times to set it up and test the various individual pieces of it over there. We started the preparation back last year. We were a little concerned that we were scheduled to have a winter contact, which meant we could have ice and snow and who knows, but I think the satellites are shining on us today. It's a beautifully warm February day, and it was we were here for the last 4 days, working satellites, setting things up, working with the students. Also, the students you saw the video, they did a tremendous amount of work in learning about radios, doing exercises, even right down to the artwork and reading stories, analyzing stories about space and so forth. So this is really a full experience, as Mr. Lazaruk was saying earlier. Ham radio for the students is a tremendous experience for them to integrate and get enthused about STEM learning. We have an active STEM ham radio club here. That's our call signs behind me, KD2YAQ, which we'll be using today. This is the first year we've had that. It is a licensed club, and Mrs. DiCaprio is the trustee of the club, and we get our students together hopefully every week and operate. How are we doing, Fred? We have 2 minutes to calling, 2 minutes to AOS. AOS means acquisition of signal. And I'll set up the radio in a second. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Can I just add a couple things then while we're waiting? And hopefully this is received a little bit better by the live stream audience as well. For anybody who didn't hear it earlier, just wanted to say thanks for the great job to everybody here. If some of you haven't noticed the hallways are all space themed now due to some fabulous artwork and research of the students and teachers. So if you get a chance to walk through, kind of feels like we're going through a mini NASA Space Center around here.
We've got portholes looking out into space throughout the hallways. So,
Okay, we have 1 minute to, the antennas are starting to position themselves. Sorry to interrupt, but
yep.
the
So we
ISS
should-
waits for no man.
Let's watch the antenna.
Okay, I will start the countdown now till acquisition. Are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec. Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec for a scheduled school contact. Over. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec. Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec for a scheduled school contact. Over. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec. Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec for a scheduled school contact. Over.
Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec. This is November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. I have you loud and clear. Help me.
Mark, we hear you loud and clear. We're delighted to make your contact today. Our students are ready. Are you ready for their questions? Over. November 1 Sierra Sierra. This is KD2 YAQ. Do you copy, Mark? November 1 Sierra Sierra. November 1 Sierra Alpha 1. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec. Do you copy, Mark? Over. We seem to have lost the connection. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Kilo Delta 2 Yankee Alpha Quebec. Do you copy? Over.
I have you loud and clear. Over.
Roger, Roger. Mark, are you ready for the students' questions?
I am. Over.
Hi, this is Am. Do you have any telescopes on the ISS, and if so, how far can they see? Over.
We have binoculars that the crew can use. I think we have some remote detection instruments outside the space station. We can see 240 miles to the Earth, and if you're looking at the stars, you can see light years. Over.
Hi, this is Jason. In the event of space debris, asteroids, or solar flare collisions, what are the safety protocols or systems to ensure the astronaut's safety in situations like that? Over.
We keep track of debris. Sometimes we change the orbit of the space station to avoid the contact, but if we feel like we cannot avoid it, we've actually had that situation one time, and we close all the hatches possible to minimize the impact of a puncture in the hull. That has not happened yet, though. Over.
Hi, this is Michelle. How do you exercise in the space station if there's no gravity? Over.
We use a resistive exercise device that relies on vacuum cylinders to serve as springs. Imagine it's like a seesaw where one person is holding up on the other end of the seesaw while you pull up on your end, and you change where the fulcrum is to determine how much of a mechanical advantage you have. Over.
Hi, this is Mackenzie. What science experiments are you working on that will have an impact on the future? Over.
I can tell you an experiment that I've been working on earlier today and we'll work on later today is one that takes some human cells, and we're testing to see how different medicines affect them with the cancer that is part of those cells. Over.
This is Kinde asking Walter's question. How do you feel about private space companies trying to make space travel open to civilians? Over.
I think it's really important. We're in low Earth orbit, and we as NASA want to make sure that there's successful commercial enterprise that works in low Earth orbit so that we can focus the government dollars on exploring further and further away. Over.
Hi, this is Austin. What is the best space food you've eaten, and do you notice any improvement in the quality of the food since the Deep Space Food Challenge started? Over.
Austin, I'm not aware of the details of the Deep Space Food Challenge, but I can tell you that the best space food I've eaten has been fresh food that we rarely get. We had some mangoes up here, and it was incredible. In fact, we just received a cargo ship with some additional mangoes. They are ripening on board now, and I'm very excited about trying them out. Over.
Hi, this is Logan. How often do you need to communicate with Earth through mission control? Over.
We probably talk during the workday to mission control at least every 10 minutes. We are constantly talking to them. Over.
Hi, this is Lainey. What would you do if communication with mission control broke down and you couldn't communicate with Earth? Over.
We actually have a procedure for that. The very first thing we need to do is do the procedure to try to regain that communication. The reason for that is the ground actually controls the space station from the ground, and we can do many of those things to control the space station, but there's so many subject matter experts on the ground. Our first priority is to regain that communication. Over.
Hi, this is Joyce. Being that you see 16 sunrises and sunsets in each day, how do you regulate your sleep schedule? Over.
We actually have to artificially pick a 24-hour period, and we chose to use Greenwich Mean Time. We just make sure we turn off the lights at night. Over.
Hi, this is Matthew. What steps are taken on the ISS to shield you from the pathway of the sun's radiation? Over.
Say that again.
Hi, this is Matthew. What steps are taken on the ISS to shield you from the pathway of the sun's radiation? Over.
Matthew, the biggest thing that protects us from radiation from the sun is the fact that we're close enough to the Earth to be within the Earth's magnetic field, the Van Allen belt. So that's the primary way we are shielded in orbit here. It'll be a bigger problem when we go back to the moon. Over.
Hi. Hi, this is Thomas. How do astronauts control a robotic arm on the outside of the space station? Do you use a computer program or use a joystick click on a game controller? Over.
That's a great question, Thomas. We actually have a left-hand controller which controls translations. That would be up, down, left, right, in, and out. And then we have, in our right hand, we use the right-hand controller that controls things like pitch, yaw, roll, so changes in the direction that the robotic arm is facing. Over.
Hi, this is CJ. Who put the first pieces of the ISS together, and will any of it be reused after the mission ends? Over.
CJ, great question. The Russians, funded by the United States, actually put the first part of the space station together. It was the Zarya module, also known as the functional cargo block. It's been here from the beginning. We are working through all the details now to make sure we understand how to safely deorbit the space station. I don't expect to be able to reuse any of those parts after that. Over.
Hi, this is Sam. How do astronauts maintain good hygiene on the ISS if there are no showers? Over.
We actually have a portable water dispenser that we use to rehydrate some foods, but we can also use it to inject hot water into a towel. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 320 plus days, is putting hot water on a washcloth basically and washing off that way. Over.
Hi, this is Jason. What happens if an astronaut gets a serious virus or other illness while on board the ISS? Over.
Jason, we have doctors that we can consult with, and we've got a good medical kit with lots of medicine, so that helps out. But if things got really bad, we always have a spacecraft with a seat for every crew member that's attached to the space station. So if it was really bad, we could depart the space station and return to Earth. Over.
Hi, this is Michelle. What is your least favorite chore or dangerous task that you do in space? Over.
Ask that again, Michelle.
You?
Oh, he's got it. Sorry.
What is your least favorite chore?
Sorry, Mark. Go again. We missed you. Once again. Michelle, ask your question again.
What is your least favorite chore or dangerous task that you do in space? Over.
I think we might have lost our astronauts. NA1SS, NA1SS, KD2YAQ. Did we lose you? Over. NA1SS, NA1SS, this is KD2YAQ. Over. Well, we're down to 9 degrees. I think we've lost the space station. So this is
I'm just going to give a farewell.
KD2YAQ, over and out. Go, Mary Lou.
Okay, this is Mary Lou, KD2WRW. If you can hear us, Mark, want to thank you so much on behalf of Sussex Charter, all our students and staff. You made our day, and if you can hear us, the students wish to say... 73! Over. Okay, so we had a good connection while it lasted. Unfortunately, we ended up not being able to ask our last 6 questions, but that's okay because the answers that we did hear are actually very loud and clear, and I think the students were satisfied with some of the signals that they received.
Get us back, but he was in the noise, so he did a very good job, I think, with the questions. Go ahead.
All right, great. So hopefully he heard our farewell message, or maybe when he plays it back from the live stream recording, he can hear it. All right, so anything else from the radio station?
Over and out.
Okay, then I am just going to say great job to the students. The term 73, for those of you in the audience, in Radioland jargon, means best wishes. So thank you again to all present. Special thank you to all of our radio operators for the outstanding work in the building of this ground station. Thank you students, parents, and our staff who've contributed to all the behind-the-scenes efforts in assembling this event. And great job, students. I'm really proud of you. Really awesome.
I think I can speak for everyone in the room when we actually made that first contact. I will never forget that. That was an awesome moment, and I hope that our students, this is a moment that they will remember. It's truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it wouldn't have happened without all of their efforts, so I'd like to give all of our students here a great round of applause. In the back, we have a high school student that we partnered with, Ethan, and his teacher, Mr. Hunt. Just want to acknowledge them. We had a partnership. We have the support of our PTO. We just want to thank our parents. The teachers in the room, if you guys could stand up, the ones who aren't standing, they were integral part of this. Mrs. Cordero, Mrs. Kotlars, Mrs. McLaughlin, just wanted to say thank you to them. I especially want to thank our radio crew over here, Vince DiCaprio, Fred Kramer, Vince Colella, George Sagali, Kelly Levitt. They did an awesome job. And Rhea, thank you, Rhea. And again, the Commissioner's Office, the Senator's Office, the County Office for coming. We are going to have a reception right up the sidewalk. Oh, yes, of course.
So thank you all. Good morning. My name is Angelica Allen McMillan, and I am the Acting Commissioner at the Department of Education. Today's event was totally awesome. I mean, it is such an incredible moment for us as we work through the challenges of a pandemic and move into an endemic and can come together to connect with those in space and to witness those in our community, our educators, our students, our parents, our county officials coming together, our legislators, is nothing short of amazing. And this is what Governor Murphy talks about when he asks us to highlight high-quality schools. and the great education that takes place. So I hope you're very proud of yourselves, because I will be singing your praises all across the state on our social media platforms and telling everyone that I speak with about your vision, about your ability to take a concept and bring it into fruition. It is not a small feat. You worked for over 1 year to get to this moment. And I hope that you will just take a bow. Students, stand up again, please. Stand up. Wonderful. So thank you for inviting me today. I am so honored to have been a part of your education journey. Great speed ahead. Thank you.
And I just want to say to the commissioner and to the county office, on behalf of the students at the charter school, thank you for the privilege of having this school. We know we are a school of choice, and we would not be here without you bestowing that honor upon us. So thank you. And none of us would be here without you. So we're going to move up to the reception. Believe it or not, this mission control here in about 15 minutes is going to be a lunchroom. We're going to convert that into a lunchroom. But we have refreshments, and during the reception, if anyone would like a tour of the school, I'd be very happy to give anyone a tour of the school. So we're going to have the students, everyone here can move right up to the 300 building. Thank you.
I just want to, if anyone is interested in coming and seeing the radio equipment, please just come forward. We'll be here for a while.